Hey guys, something different today. Um, so speedrunning is a big thing, and it's been a big thing for a while. And Mario 64 is by far one of the biggest of the bunch. People dedicate their lives to speedrunning Mario 64. Now you can find speedrunning for Mario 64. You can find Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers. Zelda's got one. Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past. I think Wind Waker might have a speed run. I'm pretty much, if there's ways you can kind of cut corners and complete things faster, there's a speed run for it. Like I said, there's speed runs for the original Legend of Zelda, the original Super Mario Brothers. So speed running is a huge thing, and people take it very seriously because it takes time and dedication and money, because you're going to these, there's speed running convention type things where people compete for money to do this. So it's taken very seriously, and people might say, "Oh, it's just a video game." Yes, but it's making them lots and lots of money. So there's that. Um, and as you can see with him, this is not who we're talking about. But people like to take it a step further, blindfold themselves. Now, people might think, "Oh, it should be easy." No, it's not. For instance, I don't know if you can hear that, but that was my stomach. Um, People think, it should be easy enough. Like I said, it's not. If you go into any one of your rooms in your house, rooms you've visited millions of times, and close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Do not open them. Try to maneuver around the room. Exactly, it's not so easy. Now, in real life, you have audio cues. You can touch. You can smell. You can this and that. So if you can do this, or you can, okay, this is what the kitchen smells like, so I must be in the kitchen. But video games not like that. For Mario 64, we'll see later in the video, underwater. There are no audio cues underwater, and all you hear is wah, 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 wah. That's the only sound you hear. So if you're bumping into something or going the wrong way, if you're hitting a wall, all you're gonna hear is wah, wah, wah. That's all you're gonna hear. So blindfolded, your run is completely gone. But the person we're about to see is so godlike. He knows exactly where he is, what he's doing, what direction he needs to go, even when he's underwater, when any other person who's been playing for 10 years blindfolded would still have trouble. But we're going to talk more about that. This is just a setup. It's 23 minutes, so grab yourself a snack poo, and let's enjoy this. This is actually kind of like not a documentary, but it's kind of like a documentary, from Charlie Brown. This is his one and only video, and it's already got like, let's see, 5 million views. Charlie Brown 64, 42,000, and it was posted December 11th. But so we're gonna watch this, and obviously gonna talk about it as we do. So if you don't, this is going to be a long, drawn-out video. So if you don't want to watch it, just click away now, because it's 23 minutes plus me talking. It's probably going to be about 30, almost 40 minutes. So if you don't want to watch it, just click away now, because I'm telling you, it's going to be long. All right, you're still here? Great, let's go. Oh wait, actually, since it's Mario 64, let's go. There we go. Much better.
Despite the immense popularity of Super Mario 64 speedrunning, there is a comparatively small amount of people running the blindfolded categories, a testament to how difficult blindfolded speedrunning really is. And so it was surprising when I was on Twitch this week and was notified of another runner doing blindfolded 16-star runs. Blindfolded runs of Super Mario 64 have recently been made popular by a small but extremely dedicated group of runners. However, there are clear differences between the runs that those already established players have done and the runs that this particular person is completing. The main difference, of course, being that this particular runner is creating fake runs and attempting to pass them off as real. I have here a video of one of these runs, and I aim to show some of the clear discrepancies between this run and the genuine blindfolded runs of SM64 that are out there. When watching this run, it's important to note that the author claims not to have practiced blindfolded speedrunning much at all, and that this is apparently only his third blindfolded run. He claims to make up for this with the fact that he has been playing Super Mario 64 for the past 3.5 years. However, it should be noted that despite the amount of time he has spent on the game, the best time on a run he has currently submitted is in 1826, a relatively mid-level time for 16-star. The first thing that actually put me off when I was watching this run was the fact...
And most likely, That was like 364th, and even that, I guarantee he wasn't completely blindfolded. Um, Guarantee he was looking. So if he's doing that and he's still 364th, you can tell this dude sucks.
The fact that the streamer had both follow alerts and text-to-speech alerts on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
If you've ever seen a blindfolded speedrun before, you will know that runners pretty much always have these kind of sound alerts turned off. Considering how important sound cues are when you literally can't see, you would think that he would do the same. However, this guy is so good he apparently doesn't even need clear sound cues to do the run. Throughout this run, he also attempts multiple times to explain the strategies that he's been using, except there are multiple problems with what he's saying versus the things he's actually doing. He mainly claims to be using a combination of sound cues and muscle memory for most of his strats. Most speedrunners know, however, that visual cues in particular are just as important as muscle memory in many cases. It's very unrealistic to assume that anyone could just casually do a blindfolded run off of visual muscle memory alone, no matter how long that person has been playing.
I've tried to do stars. I can't do 1 star blindfolded. Like, even though I've played this game for years and years and years, even trying to do 1 star blindfolded is insanely difficult.
Blindfolded speedruns often employ what are called normalized strategies. A normalized strategy is any strat that is done in such a way that the outcome is always exactly the same. In Super Mario 64, many of these kinds of strategies can be employed. For example, moving in a cardinal direction on a controller with notches, using 2 slow walks to ledge grab at the corner of a platform, or punching against a wall to push Mario backwards a fixed distance are all normalized strats. As you can imagine, these kinds of strats are often completely different from the ones you would see in a normal run, and require hundreds of hours to properly learn. And yet this person is claiming to have a 33-minute time after openly admitting to having little to no preparation. Keep that in mind when you look at the so-called blindfolded strats that are claimed to be employed here. The run begins in Bob-omb Battlefield with Behind the Chain Chomp's Gate. Looking at a legitimate example by Bubsia, you can see that a consistent setup with clear intention is being used in order to get onto the Chain Chomp's pole. Note the use of a notched angle and fixed camera in order to guarantee a direct path to the pole from the corner of the gate. Comparatively, this runner seemed to have absolutely no normalized setup whatsoever. He takes what looks like either an intentional death or a legitimate mistake, and then tries again a second time. This time around, he seems to be using an almost completely different, yet still unnormalized setup to get onto the pole. The unexpected hit that he takes here from the Chain Chomp should have immediately thrown him off, and yet he is somehow still able to turn around and recover. The runner seems to be using intentional mistakes along with fake setups to try to sell the idea that he is actually blindfolded. Many more of the...
Like, that shit is hard enough when you're having the ability to see. To do it blindfolded like that, as if you're playing with, without a blindfold, complete fucking horse shit. Like I said, the sound cues, and there's certain things that go into this. There's no way of yeah, he can say, oh, well, I took the hit intentionally because that let me know where it was. Well, how would you know where it was? You could have been right against the gate and it could have hit you. So how do you know exactly where you were just from one hit?
These will come up throughout the run. The run is already off to a suspicious start. However, the first absolutely massive red flag appears in Whomp's Fortress, when the runner decides to opt for Owless, a strat usually reserved for sighted runs. It should be noted how much the runner is talking during...
I also like the Animal Crossing music he's got playing on behind this
very input-heavy and spacing-dependent section.
Whoa!
Did I check your saves? No, because I don't save the game.
Again, anyone who has watched a real blindfolded speedrun before knows how quiet runners tend to be during difficult sections. With how much focus and skill are required to complete a blindfolded run, it's an anomaly that this runner with barely any practice is so casually able to do a strat that no other blindfolded runner has attempted. And yet with absolutely no normalized strats, he seems to do everything with some relative ease. Looking at a run that this same runner has done without a blindfold, you can actually see that he can do the exact same movements, blindfold or not. His muscle memory must really be that good. On his first attempt, he is able to triple jump wall kick up to the floating island without giving himself any sort of indication where he is. With absolutely no normalization, he's able to attempt and fail Owless 3 times before finally landing it a 4th time. He even comments on the fact that he should probably learn how to use the owl blindfolded.
Maybe I should learn how to just ride the owl blindfolded.
It's anyone's guess why he didn't opt to learn this much more consistent strat in the first place. In the next star, he goes for the traditional cannonless setup that you would normally see in most sighted runs. Once again, looking at a blindfolded version of this strat, there is a clear intention with every input using normalized movements and guaranteed setups.
It's crazy.
Looking back at this run, however, the movement across the falling bridge and over to the piranha plant is extremely wobbly and very inconsistent. He then lines up next to the plank using these extremely small adjustments that have no audio cues whatsoever. Anyone that runs this game or has even tried this trick before knows that it's pretty precise. The only possible way anyone could do it blindfolded with the movement used here would be if they weren't actually blindfolded at all, and were instead using a distinctly visual cue. The run only gets more and more suspicious from this point onward. Following a couple more extremely wonky and unnormalized setups in Cool Cool Mountain, we reach Bowser in the Dark World, the first Bowser stage. Here, only a true gamer such as this man will be able to somehow sidestep this Goomba, quickly make his way up the path, and then do this long jump to the next red, all completely blindfolded and with absolutely no setup necessary. Simply amazing.
Whenever I've gotten to that island, I always have to go around, because you see there's the path right here. I had to go around that way simply because I've tried to jump and it's incredibly hard to do, even when you can see it. If Mario jumps too soon, you're not going to make it, and it's got to be the right, just the best little pixel there, because if you jump like at the last second, you have a chance of kind of like, you know, oof, and like still falling short. So hard enough to do when you can see, but this man is such a god among gods that he can just phew right over there even when blindfolded. He can sidestep Goombas and do all this complicated shit and make it to that island without seeing. And he's trying to pass this as a blindfolded run. Come on. Woohoo!
I heard you, Goomba.
No, you
He
didn't.
then punches a Goomba that he claims he heard, even though there is no good way of gauging distance that precise with sound cues in SM64. It would have probably been both faster and safer to just keep walking forward anyway. Notice then the small adjustment he makes in order to be lined up with the final slope.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who is actually blindfolded here would have almost certainly kept holding right with no adjustment. And yet this
Yeah, so basically, he would have kept going right, and he would have kept going this way. He would have ended up like right here, and he would have just like walked off the side if he wasn't able to see. But he knew, oh god, I gotta step just a little bit to this side so that way I don't fall off the side, but instead I make my way up the ramp. Something you can only do when you're able to see.
man somehow knew he was just a little too far down, despite having absolutely no real setup beforehand. If none of this was suspicious enough, then next we have the first Bowser throw. Looking at legitimate runs by Katoon and Bubsy, we can see that a setup is being used to slowly move Bowser into the bomb without even throwing him. For a faster strat, you can also toss him a little earlier with a slower spin, which provides a much larger frame window than normal to hit the throw. It should be noted that there is also a consistent way to throw Bowser at full speed, using a combination of pause buffering and a sound cue. When Mario is spinning Bowser, a distinctive whoosh noise will play. This noise will always play whenever Bowser faces north, regardless of the camera angle or Bowser's orientation.
And until this, I never knew that was even a thing. I've been playing Mario 64 since it fucking came out, and I never knew about the whoosh only when he's, north. So when I saw this, I was like, what? Stop jerking my balls.
Grabbing him. Furthermore, the whoosh will make a slightly different sound depending on what frame you pause on. This is the strategy that Nobori implements, and it's how he's able to consistently pause buffer a B press to throw Bowser into the bomb. However, it seems like this runner couldn't be bothered to learn any of these strats. He instead opts to throw Bowser in the conventional way, while claiming to also be using a sound cue. Notice, however, that he also opts to turn his camera towards the bomb. As explained, turning the camera during spins does not affect the timing of any audio cues, and so it would be pointless to do this if the runner was truly blindfolded. It's pretty obvious here that he's just turning the camera so he can visually see when to throw. Moving on to basement, we see another series of extremely suspicious and inconsistent setups.
Yeah, this right here
Shifting
is
Sandland,
bullshit.
he is somehow able to get the Talon Star using a strategy only viable for visual runs. The amount of adjustment needed to long jump to the Fly Guy and twirl over to Calypto is simply too precise to be done consistently in a blindfolded run. That doesn't stop this guy though. He's able to do it first try with no issues. In Hazy Maze
Where's the
Cave, however,
store?
he reverts back to setups that might pass as blindfolded to try to further sell the idea that he cannot see. However, the quote-unquote setups he is using make absolutely no sense. On the emergency exit star, he seems to have created some kind of fake counting system involving more unnormalized and inconsistent movements.
Okay. 1, 2.
Compare this again to Nobori's strat.
He counts 2 steps, but that was like 2 big steps and like 2 tiny steps. So this whole, oh, I've developed my own way of doing it. No, complete fucking bullshit. He's completely able to see. He wants to give off the illusion that, oh yeah, I created these because I can't see, and I'm using these to help me find my way around. No.
Which uses normalized movements along with the game's fixed camera option for even more consistent
I hate
angles.
Hazy Maze Cave.
Up to this point, the run has been extremely
That level's
suspect
such
at best.
ass.
However, what happens in the second half absolutely destroys what little credibility it had in the first place. The last half of this run is so blatantly fake that it makes the previous 20 minutes look completely legit by comparison.
And... Yes! Come on, let's go.
We now come to Mip's clip, in my opinion one of the most impressive sections of Blindfolded 16 star. Successfully doing Mip's clip in a real blindfolded speedrun requires an extremely precise setup involving walking into a corner with the correct camera angle, and then repeatedly re-grabbing Mips to achieve the correct spacing on the door. This is one of the most difficult and precise sections in the entire run. In the castle basement, even the tiniest mistap to the left or right can mess up your camera entirely, breaking any setup you may have had. This runner, however, throws all of that out the window. To clip through the basement door, he basically just runs straight at it and ends up in the right spot. No setup needed. Remember that there are absolutely 0 sound cues here. There is absolutely no way he can know how close or far away he is from the door, because he is using literally no setup here. The exact same is true for his clip through the 30-star door. Once again, with absolutely no discernible audio cues and no real setup whatsoever, he somehow either knows exactly where he is on the door, or just gets lucky enough to clip through it after randomly guessing. He spends around 30 seconds here walking back and forth along the door, and somehow is able to find the exact right spot to make it through. Somehow it still gets worse after this. At this point, he pretty much goes through the rest of the game without even thinking about what a real blindfolded run should look like. It really looks like he's just given up on trying to sell the illusion any further. He approaches the submarine in Dire Dire Docks from a seemingly random angle, and then tries to make it look like he knows where he is by jumping at it.
I slid on something. Oh fuck, am I at the submarine? Yes, okay.
The fact that he even says this is strange to me. There is literally nothing else in this level that you can slide off besides the sub.
Yeah, anyone, if you don't believe it, go back, boot up your old N64 cartridge of Mario 64, or boot up an emulator, and go to Dire Dire Docks. There's literally nothing else there that you can slide off of. So yeah, it is odd. So once again, he's trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, these are just things that I developed myself to help me find my way. But then, like I said before we started with the water, this guy is, like I said, is such a god among gods that he doesn't need anything. He knows exactly where he is every minute, every second, and he's going for it. Nothing's gonna stop him.
So it doesn't really make any sense to act as if he had to figure out what he was sliding on. He needed to make it look like he had some kind of cue to go off of, and then did the absolute bare minimum to try to make it convincing. He then approaches the back of the sub as you would in a normal speedrun, but he ends up under the fin, causing the camera to go in an awkward direction. It should be painfully obvious how bad this looks.
Mm-hmm.
A real blindfolded runner would be completely disoriented in this situation, and there is no consistent way you could realistically recover from this. Despite this, he is somehow able to loop back around at the perfect angle and lands back on the fin.
Exactly. Like I said, when you're underwater, there are really no sound cues. All you hear is whopper, 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 whopper. That's all you hear. So if you're hitting a wall, if you're bumping into something, you're not going to know, because no matter, even if you're running into the wall, you're still going to make that whopper sound. So any normal person would be like, okay, either I die or I have to restart this whole thing because this has thrown off my entire speed run. But this guy, no, he knows, okay, I'm going to circle back around. I know just the right angle that I need to circle back around. When anyone else who has been doing this for much longer than him would have said, okay, I fucked up. I either have to restart this entire thing or, I have to just die and just restart the level. But not this guy.
Once again, with absolutely zero sound cues or any setup. Nothing suspicious to see here.
Yeah.
And then there's Fire Sea.
I like that level. It was actually pretty cool. Yeah, you can't see. Can't see my ass.
That was literally just muscle memory.
Bullshit.
Right. So after some more fake strats in Fire Sea, one fake Bowser throw setup, and some suspicious BLJ lineups, we finally come to what manages to be the worst part of the run by far. This run's Bowser in the Sky is pure gold. It contains such a large amount of glaring flaws and inconsistencies that it's insane that anyone could look at it and believe that the person playing could not actually see. He immediately starts the course with, again, completely unnormalized strats, moving through the course with small adjustments that have seemingly no explanation. He then commits what is possibly the most obvious and completely shameless move in the entire run.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't get that extra life.
I was laughing my ass off when I first saw this. Not only does he somehow know exactly where the 1-up box is, but he also knows exactly what direction the 1-up will go in once it spawns, something completely determined by RNG. Then, after chasing it on a moving platform for a completely arbitrary amount of time, he somehow knows exactly when and where to jump to the left. You don't even need to know anything about Super Mario 64 or blindfolded speedrunning to understand that what just happened is completely bullshit. Immediately after skipping the first 1-up, he messes around on the first rotating elevator, grabbing the next 1-up in the process.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's
All
okay.
clearly a calculated setup. After this, he once again makes an intentional mistake in order to make people think he's actually blindfolded.
I fell off. I can tell I fell off.
This is somehow the first and only time in this 40-minute run that he accidentally runs off of a platform. Except immediately after falling off, he somehow also knows to pull back to the right so he doesn't fall all the way down. Only then does he comment that he knows he's fallen down, again with absolutely no discernible sound cues. Following this, he traverses the wooden platforms and tries to go for yet another 1-up.
There should be a life on one of these.
He clearly saw this 1-up with his eyes, but then remembered he was supposed to be blindfolded. So he passes it off by acting like he knew there should be a 1-up there and goes back to grab it. Again, no setup whatsoever.
Yeah, that alone, that jump from one to the other, that's hard. Same thing. That's hard for people even when you can see, because there's a very good chance that it could go wrong and Mario just goes right off the side. But not this god. Not this god. Not only can he do something that's hard even when you're able to see, he manages to get the 1-up.
Ah, got it.
Watch now as he somehow knows exactly where he is on the spinning platform and knows exactly where the first pole is. Again, anyone who was actually blindfolded here would have probably just kept holding left and run off.
Yeah, they would have
However,
just
this
kept
guy
going.
is
They
able
would have
to
been off the
make a completely
side.
random amount of adjustments to make it onto the pole. He then makes his way to the next pole and grabs the red, which he seems to be using as an audio cue.
Okay, I know what pole I'm at.
Then, immediately after jumping off of the pole that he knows he was just on, he attempts to use 2 bob-ombs on the next platform to further determine his position.
There should be like some bomb up. Yes, okay.
This is absolutely pointless, as he had already just verified where he was. All he had to do here was hold forward and he would have reached the next wall. At this point, he once again reiterates the fact that this is only his 3rd blindfolded run ever.
This is your second blindfolded run, isn't it?
Technically this is my 3rd. The first one I did was like, I don't know. I don't remember how long it took me.
In the last 4 minutes alone, there have been countless points of extreme suspicion. From the moment he enters
No way in
the
hell.
moment he enters the final pipe, there is almost nothing that could be considered even remotely legitimate. However, the final Bowser throws that he does in the next 4 minutes are somehow even worse. He begins by grabbing Bowser using the normal visual method. Running around Bowser with a tight enough circle to grab him is something that heavily relies on visual cues to properly do. This is why in a real blindfolded run, a setup is used for the first 2 grabs that involves luring Bowser to a bomb from the edge of the platform. For the final throw, a separate normalized setup is used. And yet, after only 1 miss, this person is able to grab Bowser in the normal way, no problem. Note that after this first mistake, he does not miss a single tail grab for the rest of the fight. He then winds up for the first throw and misses. Once a throw is missed, Bowser will jump back onto the stage differently depending on where he fell off. There isn't a very good way to account for this, so the only real backup is to run off and try again from the beginning. But this guy doesn't do that. He instead goes for a re-grab and gets it, again with no setup and no sound cues. He hits the throw on his second try, again using the normal visual method of throwing. During his second throw, he stops and talks for about 30 seconds to explain how he first learned to speedrun
How often
blindfolded.
have you practiced outside of stream while blindfolded? A viewer is asking.
Actually not a lot. I feel like if I practiced more, I'd be a lot better at it. Most of this is just muscle memory and listening to the audio cues. But I've been speedrunning and playing Mario 64 for 3.5 years solid.
3.5 years, you say?
So like I could, and well, during streams I would like, because I knew before I did my first blindfolded run stream, I would test myself by just like looking at my other monitor, or just looking at like away from the TV and doing the run.
He is once again constantly talking during a section that should take an extreme amount of focus to execute, and yet he still figures out exactly when he needs to throw Bowser.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
After messing around for another minute, he then gets enough.
I'm sorry, but oh, fuck yeah. I mean, if I had been blindfolded and this was the last stage and I was blindfolded and I managed to get Bowser onto one of those bombs, my reaction would be a little bit more than, oh, fuck yeah. I mean, you guys would do the same, right? You'd be pretty happy if you'd be doing a little more than, oh, fuck yeah. You'd have a little more emotion. Probably, I mean, some people would, throw their, their controller up, and not this guy. He is so good that that's beneath him. He doesn't need to do that. He is a god of blindfolded Mario 64 speedruns. So that bomb hitting, that was just like, oh, you silly peasants. No, I'd be a little more ecstatic and a little more than, oh, fuck yeah.
Another re-grab, once again with no setup or any possible audio cues. During the final throw, he turns the camera not once, but twice to visually aim at 2 separate bombs. He then goes on yet another explanation about how he's able to do Bowser throws the way he's doing them.
So what I'm doing right now, the reason why it's taken me so long to throw him is because I'm trying to time it based on like where my thumb is on the controller.
Doesn't work like that.
Because that's typically like a right around where Mario is, like the direction that he's gonna throw. So I need it to be like, if I think the
so long, gay Bowser.
If the bomb is where I think it is, and I'm looking at it, then
if you're looking at it, you say.
Obviously none of this makes sense in the first place, but he is directly contradicting himself here. Here he says something vague about using where his thumb is on the stick to know where Bowser is, which already makes no sense on its own.
Yeah.
Except he also mentioned in his first Bowser throw that he was using sound cues.
Bowser is a little bit tricky. The sound cues on this is actually kind of hard. Okay.
This whole time, he's just been giving fake technical explanations to try to convince his viewers that he actually knows what he's doing. Except he also misses this throw because he was too far away to ever hit the bomb in the first place, something he probably should have known whether he could actually see or not. Maybe he's only pretending to be blindfolded so he can hide the fact that he sucks at Bowser throws.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Fuck.
He eventually does land the last throw, luckily avoiding all the fire on the ground and barely avoiding running off the edge. Nothing but pure skill and game sense.
Yeah, and that alone The guy, not only does he avoid all the fire, he was heading off the side. But yet, somehow, with no cues, no sound cues, no visual cues, he knew he was about to run off the side and turned back just right before he fell off. How is that possible with no sound or visual cues? And he can't say muscle memory because the thing's a star right now, so there should be no way of knowing exactly where you are on the stage. So how can you tell that you're about to fall off? He should have fallen off, and then he would have had to do the whole thing over again. But no, that's beneath him.
After the run is over, he is challenged multiple times by one of the only doubters in his chat.
The only smart person in
chat. He can actually do blindfolded Bowser throws, but refuses to do even the simplest test to prove it.
Mario! Be opposed to doing Bowser in the sky and throws while turned around with a blanket over my head? You'll give me $50 if I do it turned around with a blanket over my head?
I mean, for him, that's an easy $50.
No.
Despite the glaring flaws in this person's gameplay, he has somehow been able to convince all but a few of his viewers that his blindfolded runs are legit. Messages in his Twitch and Facebook gaming chats show that most of the people watching him are completely convinced that what they're seeing is real. The best I can possibly assume in this situation is that
those people are most likely under the age of 12, too.
He may actually be doing something.
Well, then again, no. You have to pay in order. You have to pay $1. He made it to where you have to pay $1 if you want to send a message, which is stupid. He's accepting money from them for, since he's blindfolded, he can't read the messages, so he has it from text to speech. So he's taking money from people, knowing full well that he can see, and these people are paying because, he's blindfolded, so I can just pay $1 and he'll get my message, and so he's getting free money, all because he wants to essentially scam.
Some of these parts at least partially blindfolded, only peeking through the blindfold whenever he's completely lost or doesn't know what to do.
Seems like it most of the time.
Or the blindfold is just completely see-through, and his only goal during the run is to make it look like he can't actually see. I almost thought this run was a joke, but it's clear from the way he's talking about his gameplay that he's completely serious. I can only speculate on this person's motives for faking these runs, but my best guess is that he's doing it for either the money or the views. It should be noted that during the run, the only way to communicate with him was to donate bits to play a text-to-speech message on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the run is fake, this just seems like a scummy way for him to take money from people.
Yeah.
But honestly, for only 1 bit per message, it doesn't really seem that bad. If the amount was any higher, I would probably have a much bigger problem with it. But whatever small amount of money he did collect is probably the least of our worries here. There hasn't been a notable cheating incident in the Mario 64 community for a few years now, so I guess we were about due for another one. By faking this run, this person has not only made a complete mockery of blindfolded speedrunning, but has also detracted from the hard work of people who have actually put in the insane amount of time needed to do this for real. This particular run ended with a 42-minute time. However, he claims to have completed a faster time of 33:23, a time which would be considered second place on the current leaderboards. When asked if he will submit the time, however, he claimed that he wants to take first place before he makes any submissions. I trust, however, that the mods of the category are smart enough to see that any run he submits will be clearly invalid. Though I wouldn't be surprised if he never even submits a run, because he probably knows that it would never get verified anyway.
Yeah.
If you happen to see this guy on Twitch or anywhere else, please just don't interact with him. I've intentionally left his name out of this video, 1, because I don't wish for anyone to harass him over this, and 2, because I don't believe that any cheater deserves attention past simply being exposed.
Alright, so that was that. Now, you're probably asking, like, okay, what was the point of watching that? Well, because I had the idea. Like I said, I'm more of a Zelda person, so I was like, let me try something like this. Let me blindfold myself, play Ocarina of Time, and just start simple. Let me just see if I can get from Link's house to the sword. Not just into the crawl space, but to the sword itself. Now, there are people who do that, and they're able, basically, when you step out of Link's house, they kind of turn around, backflip, and then, like, side jump, And then once they reach that patch of grass and they hear rupees, they're like, oh, okay, I can jump up right here and go straight and, climb up on the fence, jump, and audio cues, because when Link climbs up, he's and then when he jumps up, he's like, and then I think when he lands, he actually is like, so when you stop hearing that, you'll know that, okay, I've made it past, so keep going forward. There's also a sign, I think, on the right, and then a Kokiri on the left. So basically, if you just talk to one of them, or end up talking to something, you'll know that, it's in the middle, so you gotta go that way. But I want to see if I can do it without any of those methods, because that's like speedrunning stuff. I'm not a speedrunner. So I thought that would be fun to do. It may be like a live stream kind of thing, because, watching for like 15 minutes of me fucking up, it'd get to the point where you're like, where the fuck am I? It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm nowhere even close. I'm over by fucking Mido's house. Because I can say, oh, well, I've played the game more than enough. Have I, though? Try to visualize it in your head, and then you look at the screen, you realize it's nothing like each other. So I thought that would be fun. Mario 64, fuck that. I don't have the time, the patience, or the resolve to do that. Some of those, you can, I'm sure for people who don't know, wondering, like, 16 stars, and they're going for the ones that are the fastest to get. Like, if you notice, when you go to Cool Mountain, the easiest star to get right there is just bringing the baby back to its mama. You don't have to do anything. Basically, you grab the baby, and you can slide all the way down. That's all you have to do, and a free star right there. With Bob-omb Battlefield, same thing. The easiest star, as bad as it is behind the gate. So as long as you have a way to get the chain chomp away and get that gate open, that's the easiest star to get. So they don't do the entire game. That's why there's like 16 star runs or 30 star runs. They basically go through and just pick whatever ones, hence why they have to do glitches to get through, say, the 30 star door, because when you only have 16 stars, you can't get through that door. But in order to do that, you'll need the key from there to get to the next level, or whatever reason. But I'm not attempting that. Wow, 37 minutes. I told you guys that if you're still around, let me know that you're still around. Just comment below, like, hashtag, and that's actually, yeah, just hashtag, however you want to spell it. It could be UUUUHHH or UUUGGGHH, however you want to spell it, but just hashtag, yeah, the guy who this Charlie Brown's talking about made a video, a apology video, and I watched it. I actually didn't watch the entire thing because I couldn't care less what he said afterwards, because he starts off the video, I kid you not, like every other YouTuber doing an apology video. He's like that long drawn out side, like, oh god, this is so hard for me to do. So I think I left him a comment of, I was going to watch the entire video, but when I saw that, I had to stop when I saw that obvious, cliched, long, drawn-out side that every other YouTube personality does. I said, enjoy the ratio. You deserve it. So no harassment, really. It's just kind of a little comment. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys his channel, because he doesn't need any more flack. But in the video, he's trying to say that it was a joke and that he was purposely doing this. No, he was caught, and now he's trying to damage control and say, oh, it was just a joke the entire time. It wasn't for real. Yeah, right. But you can easily go find his channel, Mario Speedrun, Blindfold, Cheater, and you'll see his apology video up. So I'm not going to say his name, but if you're curious, obviously don't send him any hate. I obviously, like I said, my comment wasn't really harassment. I wasn't like, oh, dude, go fucking kill yourself. No, it was just basically saying, hey, I was going to watch the video, but that long drawn out side kind of killed it for me. Enjoy the ratio. So, um, so if you find his channel, don't harass him. All right, but yeah, if you guys want to see the Ocarina of Time thing, me just during a live stream or a video or whatever, let me know. I thought that'd be fun. Like I said, if you've made it this far, just hashtag and hopefully you guys, if you guys have any other video like speedrunning or anything like game related, just let me know. I would love to do that, because politics weighs heavily on your mental state and everything. So when I get to do stuff like that, it's just very refreshing and relaxing. Even though some of this stuff obviously pissed me off, I didn't show it, but yeah, you're taking advantage of people, having them send you money, claiming that you're blindfolded when you're really not. But yeah, anyways, that's it for me. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.